poor and the oppressed can least afford to be emotional or ideological, but they tend to be the most emotional and the most ideological. And I think this is probably symptomatic of feeling powerless, in my opinion. And I think at least partially this feeling of powerlessness stems from ignorance about the systems of power that oppress them. They don't understand how the system works. It's opaque, it's confusing, it's complicated, and seemingly impossible to actually dissect or dismantle. So people fall into this simplistic emotional responses, ideological responses. But the truth is that of all the people in the world, the poor and the oppressed most need objectivity. They most need critical thinking, strategic thinking, realism, and so on. So, for example, everyone likes to say that they're ready to die, for this or that cause. The price of freedom is death, and so on. All of these very dramatic statements. I'm willing to sacrifice my life for freedom, sacrifice my life for justice, or what have you, for Palestine, whatever the case may be. Okay, great. Fantastic. You're a brave man. I got it. Well, first of all, your willingness to die is completely matched with the power structure's willingness to kill you. So you're in agreement with power. You're in agreement with the power structure about that. Your life can be snuffed out. You feel that way and they feel that way. But secondly, I'm not sure that your death is actually the missing ingredient for the collective liberation of the oppressed. I don't think that you being alive is the thing that has been holding us back from success all this time. And that therefore, getting you out of the picture is going to solve our problems. You getting killed by the power structure isn't the missing piece of the puzzle. I don't really need to know that you're willing to die. What we need to know is whether or not your commitment is great enough, actually, for you to be willing to do long-term work. Tedious, frustrating, exasperating, disappointing, anticlimactic, boring work over the course of decades to achieve actual, incremental, gradual progress, because that's what we really need. And very, very few people are willing to do that. That's the reality. So, okay, you're willing to die, in a big, dramatic fashion, but I'm afraid that doesn't really help us. I mean, imagine it like we're talking about a business endeavor. You're interviewing potential new hires, and someone tells you that they're ready to die for the company. Okay, how is that useful? What am I supposed to do with that? See, I'm not really trying to be funny, but I think you're misunderstanding the role that it plays in a movement to be willing to die for that movement. It's supposed to mean that you're willing to do the hard day-to-day work of organizing, researching, educating, persisting in support of your goals. Even if as a result of that work, maybe you get taken out, which ideally you won't be taken out. I mean, more useful than saying that you're willing to die for this or that cause is to say that you're willing to volunteer hours of your time. Are you willing to spend from your own money in support of a cause? Are you willing to be publicly maligned and slandered and to have people hate you and to tell lies about you? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to repeat the same things, the same messages over and over and over again until your brain goes numb?
Yep.
Are you willing to be completely ignored?
Yep.
And like I said, are you willing to put in months, if not years upon years of work without seeing any massive, meaningful changes? Are you willing to take one step forward and be pushed 50 steps back? Because these are all the things that are going to make you much more valuable to any movement than your supposed willingness to take a bullet. The truth is that bullet probably will never come, because the only people who get those bullets are actually the ones who are willing to do all of these other things that I mentioned.
Thank you, Dr.
And who are actually doing them. So, I mean, when you declare your willingness to die, it makes me wonder if you should just get help, because you might actually just be suicidal.
Right.
I mean, look, sure. Okay, maybe working against systems of injustice might get you killed at some point. Maybe. But this is understood going in.
Right.
It doesn't need a lot of talk about it. It's just understood. This is the minimum, not the maximum requirement. Like, we assume that you're ready for that from the outstart. But some of you talk like getting killed for your cause is the actual goal, which is messed up. There's a lot of strange notions, actually, that sort of confuse people when it comes to activism or opposition or resistance or what have you, in my opinion. A lot of confusion about this. I don't see the point of all the melodrama. It's self-aggrandizing, in my opinion, in a way. And it reflects an overall lack of realism or practicality when it comes to serious efforts. I mean, there are several preliminary stages that you should actually go through before you make the decision to get involved in any sort of activism or opposition or whatever the case may be, protest and so on. You know, there are stages of, say, self-reflection, self-examination. Like, why do you feel driven to protest, to become an activist, to be in opposition? What's motivating you? And you have to be honest about that. You have to be objective about that. You have to be real about that. Is it pure emotion that's driving you?
Yep.
Is it guilt? Is it reasons of related to your own self-image?
Yep.
Or is it just boredom? Is it avoidance of some sort of personal issues in your life?
Wow.
All of these things need to be questioned because they're all bad reasons. And there are very often major factors, actually, that spur people to become involved in protests and resistance movements and what have you. And then you have to honestly evaluate to what extent is this or that issue that you're concerned about, to what extent is it any of your business? By that I mean, is it an issue over which you have some authority? Is it an issue which you have the capability to have an impact? Do you even fully understand the issue? Are you educated about the issue? Or are you just reacting without understanding the issue because it struck you emotionally?
Ouch.
Is this an issue about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question you? Question whether you did anything about it or not. Because you understand that you're not going to be questioned about any issue that's not under your authority or any issue that is beyond your capacity to do something about it. You're not going to be questioned about that. You're not held accountable for that. See, I think that the very high level of popular politicization is a new phenomenon in the world, and it's very Western. This idea that everyone is supposed to have a say in everything that happens everywhere. You know, historically, especially in the Muslim world, and in most traditional societies, most people understood that governance was the business of the government and not the general public. But this so-called democratic notion infected a lot of people with the idea that governance is actually the business of the citizenry. No matter how ignorant they may be, no matter how emotional or unqualified or uninformed they may be, they're still supposed to have a say. And then you have people on one side of the world thinking that they're supposed to have a say in what happens on the other side of the world. Because everyone's supposed to have a say about everything. And it all just gets ridiculous at that point. Like, you can what your government is doing on the other side of the world, sure, because that's your government on the other side of the world. You can be concerned about that because those are your companies, meaning they are from your country. They're your country's companies. But what the government of this or that country is doing with regards to their own people, that's not within your purview. That's none of your business. And okay, even with regards to your own government, or say your own power structure, which includes the private sector power within your country, again, you have to make this assessment. Why are you involving yourself? Should you involve yourself? Are you qualified to become involved? Are you informed enough? And do you have the capacity to influence the situation in any way? You have to examine all of this, in my opinion, before you ever make a decision to become an activist or to become involved, you know, even when it regards your own society. And say that you determine that you want to involve yourself for the right reasons. You know, you've made an assessment. You are educated about the issue that you're concerned with. You are informed and so on. But your assessment also determines that you have a very limited capacity to actually change anything. Well, then, of course, what you're supposed to do is try to build your capacity. Because if your concerns surpass your capacity, first of all, you're not going to be asked about it by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's enough for you in that case to just oppose this or that injustice in your heart. Because realistically, you don't have the power to change it with your actions or with your speech. And secondly, if this is the case, your actions and your speech will be futile at best, even if you become active. And at worst, they'll be detrimental. So you need to build your capacity to where you can realistically be effective in some way. Otherwise, you're not only not helping, you're probably hurting the situation. Okay, so then, when you have decided that you want to be an activist, or you want to be involved in some sort of movement for social change, or whatever the case may be, well, then you have to determine precisely what course of action is going to be useful, which means that then you have to examine and you have to analyze and you have to map out the power dynamics, the power structure in your society. Because if you've decided to be an activist, it doesn't mean that you automatically go out and protest in the street or start calling for revolution or marching or what have you. You don't automatically do that. You can't just jump to that. I mean, you don't know actually if any of these things, if any of these, items on the generic activist menu are even effective in your society. I mean, to be honest, it's questionable to what extent these tactics are actually effective in any society. But even if they are effective in some societies, in some cases, regarding some issues, it does not mean that they are universally applicable and that they will necessarily work in your society.
Wow.
In this case, for this issue. You can't just make these kinds of assumptions. It's irresponsible. I mean, I had someone ask me on Twitter the other day, if most protest movements in the global south are infiltrated by Western intelligence for the purpose of destabilization, so then if that's the case, what can people in those countries do when they oppose the government on this or that policy? The question is, should they just abandon the whole idea of protest? Okay, well, first of all, you should definitely abandon the idea of protest if you have just jumped to that idea without any deliberation. You should never decide on your strategy. You should never decide on your tactics without careful analysis first. But yes, when you see a protest movement bursting out on the streets in the global south without there being any strategic planning beforehand, it's almost already a given that this has been infiltrated, that it's an infiltrated movement, and that it will be dealt with by the authorities as such, meaning it will be severely cracked down upon, because the authorities will assume that you're nothing but Western provocateurs trying to stir up unrest. Look, the Western model of street protests and so on, it's highly dubious the extent to which these are even effective in the West, much less in global south countries, much less in Muslim countries.
Right.
I mean, you can make the argument that these types of protests in America or, Europe or what have you, elsewhere in the West, that these types of protests are encouraged because they just let the people burn off steam. And they make them feel like they're doing something consequential, precisely to prevent them from actually doing something consequential. So no, you should never just jump straight into organized mayhem of street protests. That's a big mistake. You have to look at the power structure and the power dynamics of your society, your specific society, and locate and identify potential avenues for redress, because they may exist already. You just have to learn what they are. Like I've said many, many times, you have to identify the ahl al-hal wal-aqd of your society, the people of influence, the people of power, the movers and shakers, the decision makers, and then you have to see how they can potentially be influenced, how you can potentially influence the influencers, or again, you can try to become from among the influencers, from among that segment of the society, that segment of the people who have influence. So I'm not a fan of spontaneous, spur of the moment outburst style activism. Now that doesn't mean be acquiescent. It doesn't mean be compliant. It doesn't mean never rock the boat and so on. That's not what I'm saying. I have no problem whatsoever with confrontation when it is called for. But if confrontation is called for, then it is even more important to be strategic and to be methodical and to objectively assess the real existing power dynamics at play. And again, I'm not anti-street protests per se, but understand what it really does and what it really does not accomplish. You understand? Have an accurate assessment of what role it plays in a movement. The same goes for boycotts and so on. Any sort of mass activism. You have to understand accurately what you're doing and don't have an unrealistic expectation of what you're doing, or an expectation of what you're going to achieve, what your action will achieve. Like, for example, the Montgomery bus boycott back in the 1950s for the racial integration of city buses in Montgomery, Alabama. African Americans stayed off of the buses for over a year,
and they came out the church
to protest or to press for integration.
That
This
came
is the
from the
famous
church.
case with Rosa Parks and how Martin Luther King became a national figure in the civil rights
And those are
movement. It was
church
the
people.
Montgomery bus boycott. But the fact
Those are all church people, because the people that you believe in don't have the balls or the faith to do anything that you say that they doing, like he said at first. The Muslim community, Black Panther Party, all these tough people, they don't have the balls to do none of that. They don't have the faith. And faith without fear, faith and fear can't harbor the same spot. And if what a lot of people are saying is the truth, but you specifically say it's a theory, we know that you don't know shit, because theories can't even be proven. So you're going to live an unproven life and complain about people who find the truth. Your pride is going to hurt you. I just had to say that. Your pride is going to kill you, if it already hasn't. You know, one thing I just never do is, if I don't believe in something, it holds no weight in my heart. Or if I don't believe in something, it holds no weight in my heart or my head. What's up, Latoya? But people that don't believe in the Bible, it weighs heavy on them, that they have to disprove the Bible all day long. That's like me walking around trying to disprove Santa Claus all day long. I wouldn't do that. That's stupid. That's crazy. I don't believe in that. So why am I trying to disprove something I don't believe in? If I don't believe it, again, it holds no weight in my heart or in my head. It passes me by. I don't go around trying to prove that lies are lies. That's what they are. If you're lying, you're lying. If I bring some information and we're analyzing together, I'm not trying to teach you anything. If you're trying to learn, that's on you, but I never professed to be a teacher. When I bring some information forth and then things pass, and then it looks like the information I had makes sense, well then, okay. That was me saying this and that was going to happen. I'm just saying it makes sense. You know, a lot of us are hell bent these days on money and possessions and power, just like the slave owners, and we don't even know we've been trained to be like the slave owners. From here on out, if you want to discuss anything with me, when you make a claim, you make sure I can go and look at that right there. Okay? That way there's no discrepancy and we can read it together. Because I can put it up here. I'm not ashamed. What's up, honey Ann? But this ganging up on me on panels, that's cool. See, the reason why I'm joyous in that, and see, that I quit getting mad at you. I started taking joy in that, because the Bible specifically says they gonna hate you, they gonna dog you, they gonna talk about you. Hell, they killed me for doing nothing but loving everybody, for telling the truth. So if you don't have that kind of heat, you probably comfortable in the lie, and the enemy is comfortable with you in the lie. And he don't need to bother you. You're doing exactly your job for him right now. You're not living for you. See, everything I know is real simple. And let me make this very clear. If you have all this information and you can't explain it to a child, if it's too complicated for a child to understand, either you don't know what you're talking about, or it doesn't make sense. Because children are pure. And they're straight up. Any scholar knows that. If I know something like the back of my hand, I should be able to just explain it. I should need to reference you to 4 or 5 things and complicate muddy the waters. Anybody that does that's just a liar. Again, taking cheap shots, how people's voice sound. What's up, BD? All that. That's childish. Especially when you like in the back chat. Mad. I'm talking to Mad right now because that kind of irritated me last night, him and AZ. But when you in the back chat talking about people, one thing over here in this community, let me explain something. Well, something I don't do. I don't go around with propaganda of a person that I don't like. If that person ain't bothering them, you'll never know me and that person don't like each other. Like I'm not the warning crew. And sometimes I often question why do you why do others act as a warning crew and then pretend to be real? That's your problem. Don't set that seed with us. That's not fair. I mean, to get down like that on a panel and then you say that guy is the problem. In a panel I wasn't even on. I just said I'm dropping down. The moment I dropped down, y'all came to the court. It's against me. And I had been on the panel. If you wanted to address something or ask me something, you could. But then again, y'all see me go quiet because you're really good. You and Hazy, 2 things you're good at: telling me what I don't know and acting as if people are intellectually smart enough to come to decisions themselves unless they're in government. Which tells me that you have no control over you. Everybody's not dumb. Everybody's not in the not know. When I find out the truth, that's where I stay. I don't go find other truths after I find the truth. That'd be stupid. Once I find out your name is your name, you dig where I'm coming from? Once I find out your name is your name, I don't go looking for your name. That's dumb. That's stupid. I don't have to believe what you believe. Let it ride. Stay on issue, not on the person that shows too much emotion. We talk about being emotional, but I'm gone and I'm living rent free in your head. And a bunch of people, they just leading people all down the wrong path of just straight up nothing. You can't prove nothing. You can't tell me evolution is a theory and then sit up and say and then say that there's no, how we can prove it, how concrete fact it is. Theories can't be fact. Fact and theory are 2 different things. Facts you can prove. Theory you can't. To have a conversation with somebody, person to person, right? And it's just me and that person. And you ask simple questions and they say, I never thought about it like that. Maybe I need for you to talk to my teacher. And then to go on another panel and say mentor, as if just trying to be politically correct when all this is recorded. It's sad, fool. That's sad. So what you admitted is you can't answer none of my questions. I can answer all yours. But mine is make believe. Somebody taught me, led me wrong. Like I can't think for myself. Like I'm too dumb. Hey man, if you one of these slave niggas that need that white people to interpret for you, That's you. Don't throw that. Don't project that on everybody. Don't project that on everybody. Especially when you admit to somebody telling you something. I've never admitted to that. I said I listened to somebody's information, and the person I listened to, he tells you right off top, one thing you don't want to do is believe me. Go and look at it for yourself. He gives you where to go look at it, and you go and look at it. That's the way we rock. So I don't know where you get. I'm trying to teach you something from there. I'm trying to teach you how to teach yourself. But if you need a teacher, you need to go to school, not YouTube. The wrong place looking for a teacher. Shit wasn't cool. Shit wasn't fair. I mean, cheap shots. I thought we was better than that. I thought we was grown men. I don't know if a nigga know I can take it there, and I don't mind. I don't mind. See, fear and faith can't harvest the same spot. I'm used to this. We all ain't. You know what I mean? We ain't gotta act funny. We ain't gotta be mad. But I'm gonna address it straight up. I'm not gonna sit up and do it like that. And I ain't expecting an apology. I get it. I can't be moved. And my answers remain the same every time you ask me the same question. But what I'm not gonna do is say that some other country should suffer injustice at the hands of my country. I'm not gonna do that. That's out of the question. I'm not gonna not recognize my country for who it is, especially when it did me like that. Not gonna do that. That's one thing I'm not gonna do. Because I love my country or where my country is wrong. If you love somebody, you'll correct them the best way you can, even when you don't have a voice. In your heart, you'll still say that ain't right. And y'all know that ain't right if asked. And you'll stand on that. And the hard part, like he said, is being willing to die for it. Are you really willing to die for it? I don't think so. I'm being honest with you. I don't think you're willing to die for it. I believe you're willing to cry for it. Especially if you don't have anything, if you don't have a base. If you don't have a concrete foundation, what are we doing? You gotta believe something. And this is my, like I say, my final announcement. If you're willing to die for a cause such as generational wealth, is it okay if your child goes to Hollywood and sacrifices you? Would you have served your purpose when you ain't here to enjoy none of it? But it's all because of you it happened. And that's why I say y'all get it twisted. Somebody say if God is in control, I believe in God, but if he really in control, how come he don't make people do nothing? That would if he makes you do something, he allows. He doesn't make. If he makes you do something, you don't have any free will. That everybody will serve out their purpose, whether they know it or not. But that I just felt like that was awful, like messy, because if you in the comments, I wouldn't do it. Especially you can tell when they get emotional how their voice go up. No, I didn't hear Latoya. That was, and you know what? I was like, that was some bitch shit. But that's cool. I expect it from niggas that gossip. Just saying. My dude, oh, over here is a little bit more rough, cut dry. Like you see how me and Chef didn't know nobody's business. We really didn't. If we don't do that, even if somebody mad at him and everything, we had a person that I introduced him to got just get completely mad at everybody. Get what? We wasn't on the back end talking about that. We wasn't in the back chats. We wasn't in the private chat. Cause we mean. We gonna see how we gonna let the calls fall where they may, and the real gonna stand up. They ain't got to. And let me tell you, everything that I stood on, it come from the Bible. I don't know what everything he stood on came from, but she couldn't destroy our friendship, and that's what it looked like. He ain't had to tell me nothing. And it was brought to us. We didn't know that nobody was even mad at us. We didn't have an idea. We didn't know. Never crossed our mind. This person thought we was in the background talking about them. She told her whole man. Then she told that it was one of these niggas that was in her ear in the background that got her riled up about something about we acting funny. So hey, that's why I say the real gonna stand real. And I gave the benefit of the doubt when the chat was in the back message because of everything that I can bring mine to the front line because we done squashed it. And so again, I didn't know none of that. No, I didn't have no feeling that. I don't know y'all into. That's y'all thing. I don't want to be introduced into no. We grown, man. That's all. We've been doing that for 10 years. I don't know what none of them niggas doing. And I don't even like, that's why I don't get the memo. Cause nigga, I already know I'm finna check you if you come tell me about another nigga. That's what I should have done. That was what was on my first mind last night. But I didn't. I was trying to be politically correct. Maybe I needed to start playing hardball the whole time. Then we quit playing on here. And I would say maybe the dude acting like he acting because of the way you took shots at me with that bullshit. But you could have just told me some shit if you want to talk to me. It's the internet, bro. Maybe that's why he's acting like that. That's what I come away with. I just think it's fucked up. I'm serious. And to be lied on, Hazy, can you do me one favor, man? Quit lying on me, bro. Nobody's trying to teach you anything. You already said you don't believe. It be y'all harping on the stuff y'all don't believe in all the time. I never bring up nothing that I don't believe in that y'all say. Why? Because it holds no weight in my heart or in my head. I don't give a damn. I don't believe it. What's up, Vince? Please stop doing that, dog. That's not fair. You're misrepresenting character. I never told nobody you were trying to teach, and if I'm telling you to go look for yourself, what in the world makes you think that I'm telling you that I'm trying to teach you something? I've never been that type. You can't teach me unless I want to be taught. You don't have that choice. I don't give people power over me like that just on a regular basis, bro. That's not me, and I wish we all could practice that. Just not me, bro. I didn't grow up in a household in that manner. Matter of fact, we got in trouble if we acted like that. You don't let nobody use you. That's fact. That's just fact. That's what you do. You chill, man. You move around. Able to intake information. Like I said, in all our getting, let's get an understanding. If you already don't believe you have an understanding, why is it so important to you? You see, I shut up. When y'all started talking about going into where I seen y'all was taking shots from, that's why I shut up. And now, when I seen the way it was going, I just let y'all have y'all conversation. Let me get up out of here. I don't believe none of that shit. And you can't prove none of that shit. You can prove absolutely zero of the shit any of y'all was saying last night. None of it. You have zero evidence. You have a bunch of motherfuckers that think like y'all, had the same kind of brain as y'all, and tell you what to think. I'm still waiting on somebody's teacher, mentor, or whoever he bring. I got the same questions for him. If the sun is our daddy and the earth is our mama, how come people still just ain't popping up out of earth? How come we got to have sex to have them? I'ma always answer that question. And don't tell me nothing about no evolution. Because you have to prove that it happened. There ain't nowhere in the world you can prove that. Specific places that was listed back in the Old Testament still are there today. Matter of fact, they're fighting over some land right there in Israel. That they said that the Bible said they was gonna forever fight over that. And you can put that in your knapsack because you know it said it. And I believe it. That's why it would be evidence for me. For you, you couldn't use it as evidence. You don't believe it. It would be redundant. Almost hypocritical. Very hypocritical, actually. But that's why I didn't say too much. I was really kicked back laughing when I was like hearing my name. I think it was Rice. You have no evidence of nothing that you said. Anything that I say, like I said, from here on out, we're gonna have a paperwork party. If you don't have the paperwork, I don't want to hear what nobody said. Don't send me no YouTube video telling me about this and that and let a nigga form and play with my head. Nah, fuck that. I already know. I already see the truth. I know what I see. Give me concrete numbers of a study that you did that you can prove. Cause see, everything that I'm telling you, I can prove it. I don't need to go nowhere. It's right in front of me. It's right in front of you. The way things are done. If it says this is how things are done, this is how things are done. Very cut, dry, point blank. And if it's right in front of me, it's right in front of me. One thing that a person said though one time, when you put on the magical glasses, it's gonna be people ain't gonna understand that, and you gotta realize people don't have, and you can't never take them off. So you see things for what they are, not what people want you, not what the people want them to be. You understand? The promise is there's nothing like that. That's why I tell people all the time. Oh, if you're getting in the church to get you some money, or you believe in God because you don't want to work, or whatever you want to live another person's life, you're wrong business, bro. You need to accept your call. It's not this is not an easy road. This is not for the faint of heart. No, you don't get any blessings. You get slandered and fucked with a lot by people who don't even believe what you believe. But it's important to them that you just don't believe in that. They don't care what you believe in, just don't believe in that. And then they don't even have a belief system. Like they can't tell you what they just say God. And anything can be a God. So that goes in correlation with the Bible. But you don't believe it. But God said, you can't help but worship me. And you don't even know it. Every time you take a breath, you say in my name, I'm the breath of life. Yahweh. Love you. Love you. You can't even help it. Like I say, yeah, I was shook a little bit because I was like, y'all was having a conversation. How I get in the middle of this? When your voice go up, we taking shots. All right. Mr. Back chat ass nigga, man, you got me, man. You play too much, dog. Don't do that. Oh, I just bring, because I'm different. You better ask them. I bring everything to the front line 'cause I don't want no secrets. That's why I'm always trying to bring people together because they know I'm going to say something if I know something. So I get people in the room. They go both off on me. And I sit there and I take them slugs because I started it. You must not know me. Yeah. So if I bring the nigga name up, you and him gonna have to face off in front of me. Cause I didn't have to be in your business. I'm a fight promoter. I'm not no messy nigga. Yeah. When I see where I'm wise enough to know when I see where a conversation going and I see that we can't have a conversation, I'm ready. When I see we can't have a conversation, right? Cause you already bent and I'm already bent. And you surrounded myself hot. I already went there. And for me being my authentic self, this is why men can't express their feelings to be their authentic self. Because I was my authentic self, that was a talking point for you, as if to make me less than a man. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, partner. You don't have that. You don't get to make that choice. No matter how high my voice go up, don't worry about it. I'm not messy. I'm gonna put that out there first. Me, Rice. I'm not messy. So whatever I have a problem with it, nigga. I have a problem with it. I ain't gotta make no subliminals. I ain't trying to bring niggas out no weeds. Everybody knows this. It ain't no cake at this party, partner. And I'm not letting nobody make it from here on out. You can't afford to. Like I said, don't lie on my name. And in certain discussions we don't have to. Nubs the same way. But see, with me and Nubs, I still stay the same course. You see, Nubs don't have me shook. He don't be teaching me nothing. Y'all were very studious yesterday when that man was in there. What happened? And I've been saying the same thing. See, that's what I be talking about. It happened live and in 3D. I ain't gonna front you out though, unless you live in your reality. told y'all racism gonna kill everybody. Studious. Very studious. I noticed. I was waiting for it. I was like, Nub's gonna say a lot of the same stuff I say. Let me see what happens. Let's see if they intellectually better him. You can't say it. He said I said it. How come I can't say it? I just said it. Whew. That was so profound. Crickets. Man, I had said something like that, boy. That's what I'm talking about. These slave scared niggas not gonna line me up. All right. The one thing about it with me and Nubs, because with men, we've never had to go there with each other. He just calls it my book. He doesn't call me a Christian. He said, according to your book. Exactly right. According to my book. That's what I believe. And it's always a reference point. Because it probably is the standard. And you don't want to admit it. Because of whatever selfish reasons you're mad. Again, I don't go around proving the Bible. I don't have to. And for real, that's not fair to me or you. Hey, if I gotta be white in order for it not to be get bullied or, lied on, let me know. See, I be trying to be in agreement and understanding, but shoot, it turned a whole nother page. I was agreeing with as long as far as the topic of everything. Yeah, I agree. I thought I just pointed out some funny stuff about it, but I agree with everything. I said my behind down. I didn't have nothing bad to say. It turned into that. And that, I feel like that was kind of on purpose because two people have been listening to each other and they kind of come in agreement. One dude say he said, I'm gonna send you some stuff for that, but don't listen to this person and that person about it. Just listen to this person, listen to these people over here because he gonna have you believing. And again, yeah, that's why you don't listen to everybody. He just said that. So when you find the truth, you stick with it, right? That's my point about the Bible. How come you can't listen to that person? How come he doesn't give you all the evidence? He's basically right. He right there just told you that people can falsify stuff. So don't listen to that guy. He's falsifying this stuff. Just listen to these people. But how do we know his people that he's telling you to listen to ain't falsifying their stuff? And he just trying to push the agenda of them. He just don't like this guy for some reason, for one reason or another, because he don't have to. There's a bias. How do you know that? How come he didn't invite you to listen to everybody? So you can form your own opinion. See what I'm saying? And I tell you, just go look at it for yourself. And I'm just teaching you. This dude basically just told you to your face. And you didn't even question it. You just said, oh, all right, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I sure will. Who's that other guy? Oh, don't listen to him? All right. If you're trying to learn, you're trying to learn. That's what it looked like to me. And if he's telling you, don't go and look at all the information. To me, if I knew some guy was telling a lie, I would say, look at both of them for yourself. That way, you can determine for yourself. You're smart enough to know the truth from a lie. You're smart enough to know when somebody's bullshitting you and when they ain't. Don't short yourself. I'm just saying. Well, as soon as he said that right there, I was like, whoa. I just sit back and laugh. I got a person I listen to him 20 years now. More than 20. Like I said, he's been on there probably 30, 35 years now. I readily tell you where I go for information. It's not my fault that you have the internet and you don't know these people. I've been saying it for like 5 years. Some people just now coming around. Dope. It's hardball over here, partner. Now, between you and that person, what I'm going to do with that information, I'm going to tuck that. Because if y'all ever in the same room, I'm invite both y'all on the panel because both y'all stream. Because I know about it and I was involved, I'm bringing it to the fore table. And that's why I don't like knowing nobody's business when people don't like each other. Because I'm bringing y'all together. I'm going to see why. So I can make my judgment on who and for what. Everybody know how I do it. I'm messy like that. That's how I'm messy. I tell you what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And that's solid to me because, again, I ain't have to be, if it had been my dude, because that's who came in my stream, that was my dude. And me and him already had it out. I got doxxed real bad. It happened last night. I mentioned I got doxxed in Chef Stream, and the dude played on the phone last night, so I know it's somebody close. I just put them bots on this motherfucking ass. He got pissed out of that. He couldn't use his device for a minute. Called him a white phone playing on her phone, calling my phone. Man, ain't nobody. We beyond. I still got you shook. Again, a lot of stuff I just don't mention no more because it don't matter. Now I'm freely able to tell you because it don't matter. Still, you see, it didn't have nobody shook. We slept good, got up early, listened to my Psalms and my Proverbs, made me some coffee. It's Saturday. I get about my day a little later. I already went out this week, so going somewhere. I went on a dead night too. I didn't really do too much damage. Going somewhere is out the picture. About 3 or 4 tonight, I should be calling it quits. Smelling like Jameson for another whole day. And can't take the first day of the week off. You know, you got a show, got to get it on the Sunday. Can't do nothing till I really don't want to do nothing till sundown. So, but that's 7, 8 o'clock around here. Yeah, it's time to get it. But like I say, man, to me, it's a violation of trying to teach somebody. And I think that's what people want. They want you to tell them the truth about the future. You can't do that. And you can't out people. You can't get rid of people like, how can I put it? you can't you can't pass judgment on a person. You can just offer them the information. That's why I say I'm not good at telling people what to think. I'm not telling, man. If I, it's unfair to give a person half the side of a story. But I'm gonna give you the if me and you gonna have a serious conversation about whatever we're talking about, it's only fair that you get to review every side of the story. Even though you say, well, I'm not trying to lead you wrong, how can you lead me wrong? Don't I get to make a decision? I mean, when did another man get that much power? I think this is why government is so effective. They know we won't stand up to it. Again, that's my only point. I, I've always said that. That's why I didn't vote for him or her. And the first time around, if anybody was around, I wasn't displeased with nothing that was going on in the world, not even the pandemic. I thrived in the pandemic. I don't know about y'all. I made a killing in the pandemic. Pandemic didn't stop nothing for me. Matter of fact, we was on go. I hope they have another one. I mean it. Do it again. Do it again. Everybody sitting at home wondering what's gonna happen. Man, I couldn't stop getting it, but then again, I was 5 years younger, so yeah, things was moving a little different. I hadn't failed, I hadn't hurt myself, but it was this year. But I hope it happens. I don't want it to happen again, but do it again. I know where my help come from. That showed me a lot about me, the pandemic. Showed me a lot about the world. Oh yeah, you can make everybody quit. Yeah. And just do like put their hands up like I don't know. Man, do it again. Yeah, man. So I don't know. But we all wasn't able. So and they know they can't afford to do that again because prices don't went up on everything. And like China said, we're the object of most of the propaganda. Man, I don't understand how people believe people that talk about them. Oh, the whole institution is messed up. You're not going to remove the ideology. That's the whole thing. And there was an establishment made. And what we're watching is the establishment crumble. And nobody wants to admit the reason why we're watching the establishment crumble is because we don't have any integrity. And that's why I said integrity runs rampant throughout, but no integrity runs rampant through the White House. I'm not saying these people are bad people, they're not good at their job. What I'm saying is that something about integrity that back in the day when our presidents didn't act like this. There was a different outlook over the world. And Bill Clinton was the first one to muddy up the water. It's only fitting that Bill Clinton asked him to get more involved. He should have been removed. He wasn't removed. Now you open up a floodgate of stuff. So now this man, he convicted of a whole bunch of stuff. Ain't nothing gonna happen. That's expected. And we cheer him on. Knowing damn well if that was you in the same court of law, you'd be hung. Even if you had his money. That's what I'll be trying to say. And can't tell me no different. They did he right there. You know how many beauty pageants Trump throw? My goodness. Man. And we don't even go into his young man days. Because that's what people, they already get the inkling of what people going to say. He was young. And that's legit. That's legit. But I am going to say it. And it's just, like I say, some people, I guess you see them for who they are, especially when you've been through that for a mild time in your life. Like, you can tell a user B. You can tell a user B. User B's don't really want much. And if you give them anything nice, they'll tear it up because they really hate you. They don't love you. That's when you move around and just shoot, find your way. I had to learn that through the course of 20, 30 years, for real. My heart being big, some of you take advantage of that. And, So that's why I say it's a lonely road when you get your mind right, for real. Everybody can't go. I done lost relationship after relationship. Not lost it. Like, I guess we still cool, but I done distance because I have another way of maneuvering. And it ain't gonna me and you, it ain't gonna be conclusive. It ain't gonna, we ain't parallel. And a lot of it, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of it is because of my belief, not what you believe, because I don't even know what you believe in. I don't care enough to make you believe anything about what you believe when it comes to coinciding. Because as far as I'm concerned, every belief system, it calls for peace, but they fight constantly. I know what works. I see what works, and I see what things are based on, and I see what things were based on before that, and there's evidence of that all over the place. And I think something about feeling like there's a pride of people feeling like they're kings or something. I don't know, or bloodline of kings or something. I don't know what that is, but all that's over. You know, that's what I say when you don't understand that the Savior came and said all that's pretty much over. Yeah, the good and the bad, but people don't want to take it for that. It's not supposed to get any better. Everything that is it, we he's supposed to that if it's over, if that's over, then we don't exist because that specifically said in the beginning. In the beginning, there has to be an end, and that's just what I believe. So in the beginning, if it ain't if that's still here, then it's not the end. If you have an option to get right and understand, then that's not. But first, like I say, that starts with mirrorology. That's why it's crucial. But how you come up in the home, and some people I mean, whoo, the Baptist Church did a number, didn't they? They knew what they was doing with that Baptist convention. Cause people still believe that today. They won't read it for themselves, and then they'll tell you that you believe what the people that you telling them that is lying believe. I don't believe nothing that the Baptist Church got to say. Baptist Church ain't never dictated none of my life. Don't get me confused with nobody. Don't try to run me parallel with no church. You lost the argument right there. I ain't never said that. I can want to look at it for myself. No, they don't have me believing nothing. I had questions when I was young. They wouldn't touch because they couldn't. Now I understand why. Hey, y'all knock the system. If one thing you don't get is an understanding, and another thing, if you don't get uh if you don't read for yourself, it's specifically tell you to do that. It don't tell you that nobody dictate nothing. You make a choice because when you in front of the judge, that's on you. Shoot. Can't nobody go for the judge but you. And I'd hate to get to the judge and and not just believe that he said believe. I was taught when I was young just to believe it. I went away from it. Like I say, I did too. But like I so some explain that too, a reprobate mind. Sometimes when you been it talk about Pharaoh's heart, how hardened it was to not to release the people. All God let all hell break loose and people still complain. And you wanted me to get you out of it, I got you out of it, now you got a problem with being out of it. Because you know, you ain't built your kingdom yet. First I gotta get you some land. And here you go, don't resort to going back to serving what got you there in the first place. And I ain't send you right back. I pardoned you. I just let you run around for 40 years. I ain't give you the same whooping. I was nice to you this time. You go back to resorting to what they was worshiping. I'm gonna put you back over there. You was already slaves. What you want to be? You want to be a slave? You want to worship what the slave owners got you worshiping? That's the whole thing about the Exodus. That's how they got there. Worshiping what everybody else was worshiping. They want the government. Some somebody to govern their mentality, and they got it. And then in the middle of all the whatever miracle happening on the mountain, when some people was too scared to even go, the man come down. Oh, he hot now, but he just pulled you out of something you couldn't get yourself out of. We gonna call him man high. Man, the level of disrespect. I want to get that high in where I can lead a nation, where I can just walk up into the White House and just everything just stop. And I just talk to the president and tell him, look, give black people reparations. And he goes, no, I ain't gonna do it. And then I just start making things happen wrong with the nation and telling that things gonna happen wrong with the nation if he don't do it. And then finally he do it after his son died. And then we get our reparations. And then after we get our reparations, he tried to kill us, but at this time, something just happened and they all get killed. Trying to kill us. They just die. Like he shielded us and then they just die. And then I wish I could get that high and do that. But what I wouldn't do as soon as I got out of that, I wouldn't go back to worshiping what they had me worshiping to get in that. And that's what happened. That's what we do. And that's what we doing right now. It's funny. It's like it don't never stop. People are just gonna people. And you can't tell me I'm not looking at it. I'm watching it. And that's the thing, how did that book know? To the T. To the T. It never said God wrote anything. Who told you that? It said it was inspired by God. I'm pretty sure a man that can get people out of a situation like that by doing that, I'm pretty sure God can tell them exactly what to write and he can write it. Even if he don't know how to write. Think y'all say God can do what he want to do. I'm just saying, don't we say God can do what he want to do? If God can do what he want to do, then we can agree that can happen. Animals talking. If God can do what he want to do, we believe in the same kind of God. Well then, why can't they? I ain't gonna lie, I think this is a dope spot. Before disobedience set in. I mean, according to just general man thinking and the way the public school systems and the Baptist church got people thinking, they can't even read the first verse. They can't even start the Bible because they hung up right there on the difference between light and day and night. They think you need a sun in order to have light. That's the thing. That's wild. That is so wild to me. So they hung up on when the sun and the moon was in order. And it's said it's gonna be a lot of people. And I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying that's why they can't start right there. They gonna let it be that. That's what it is. Yeah, that's a hard one to get over right from the beginning. Oh, it don't. And then okay. And then you understand it, yeah, because energy will still be here, even if the sun and the moon don't get covered. It was still all the lights came on when we had the eclipse, and it was totally dark. It came right over my city. We streamed it. The lights came on. That let me know, and the sun was blocked out. That let me know that energy still works. That's an occurrence. What science tells you that there's two stars that'll always be appeared. You know, if we're talking about outer galaxy, and that's the sun and the moon, they're always there. One, the moon is inside the orbit of you. It orbits you. You don't orbit, and you orbit around the sun. And so do the other planets. So sometimes they ain't gonna be there. They're gonna be on the other side. Yeah, you're not gonna see the planets align like that all the time. Everybody's going a different speed. It's really simple. We learn this stuff in like the first and second, third grade. And it's still today, it's still like happening. Like it never deviated, it never stopped. It's just that we came up with new ideas and challenged it. And the thing is, still won't do the work yourself. You can actually look at this stuff and you can track it yourself now. They have telescopes and stuff. Too lazy to put in the work. Somebody say something slick, we just go with that already, if that tickle your fancy. But if you gonna listen to somebody, make sure, this is critical, make sure they tell you to look at all the evidence, not to off top name some people not to listen to, because what them people gonna do, they gonna be in agreement with what they saying, but they gonna have a different pathway. How they know that's not the pathway? How they know what they saying is right? Why don't they give you all the information and tell you to just determine for yourself? That in itself ain't fair.